I am live. I am not expecting many people to watch this video, at least right now, probably later, because if you read the title, this review is filled with spoilers. I did see Star Wars The Last Jedi. I'm not going to get into spoilers yet. I want to give people some time to hear the warning that I'm going to give, that I will be giving spoilers on Star Wars The Last Jedi. What's up, everyone? I'm seeing some comments already. But I did go to see Star Wars The Last Jedi. I saw it at 6 p.m. Eastern Time today. I went to the fan event, which was pretty much an overpriced ticket, so I could see it at 6 p.m. And the only things that I got, you're supposed to get a free popcorn. Totally forgot about the free popcorn, so I missed out on that. You're supposed to get some bonus footage, which when the credits started rolling, I left. And I was like, oh, yeah, there was some bonus footage. Apparently the bonus footage was like a little featurette on John Williams and composing the music for the movies. But and then I got these little collector cards. They're made by Topps, and so basically it's double-sided cards. So there's a Porg on one side, and then there's a Praetorian Guard mask there. And then on this one, it's a Star Destroyer and R2 on that one. And then this one, it's BB-9E, I think was his name. And then is it BB-8? I'm drawing a blank. Anyway, I was going to wait to record this until tomorrow, but I got so much going through my head right now that I couldn't sleep on it. So I decided to just do this now. Once again, this is a spoiler-filled review. Spoiler-filled review. I'm going to be talking about this movie. I'm going to be talking about what I thought about it. I'm going to be talking about certain plot points that are revealed in the movie. So if you don't want to get spoiled, please don't watch this right now. Please click off, go watch something else, and then watch it after you've seen the movie. So let me just get into it. First things first, people are probably wondering what I thought of it overall, my overall reaction. I find it hard to give a official score on the movie right now, just because I'm still kind of processing everything. I think that this movie, out of any other Star Wars movie, needs multiple viewings to really understand if you like the movie or not. And the reason for that, and here's where I'm going to start to get into some spoilers. The reason for that is because this Star Wars movie feels the least like a Star Wars movie, in my personal opinion. It kind of feels detached from the other 8 movies including Rogue One. So the previous 7 movies, even the prequels, even the original trilogy, and even Force Awakens kind of had the same beats. They kind of felt like they were in this universe. Rogue One especially. But this one, it just kind of felt different. It just felt kind of strange. And I don't know if it was Rian Johnson's direction or the fact that they let him write the script and he just wanted to be super, super creative with it and just be totally different from Force Awakens. I don't know what it was. I mean, because Force Awakens, a lot of people loved Force Awakens, but the big complaint there is it felt too much like A New Hope. This one feels completely different from any other Star Wars movie. So I kind of felt I felt weird watching it. When the opening crawl started going, first of all, I'll admit it, I started crying a little. As soon as that first, long time ago, galaxy far, far away, and then the big crawl starts and the music hits, started crying a little bit. Anyway, so after that, it gets right into the action, and I actually really liked the opening action scene. It's a space battle, and I liked that. That was cool. But it kind of goes down weird paths from there. Let's get into it. Once again, I'm going to be talking about spoilers. I'm just going to be thinking of random things that I remembered from the movie, things that might have bothered me, things that I didn't really understand or get. I'll be talking about theories that I had going into this movie, which proved to be. I'll talk about those too, but let's get into it. So one more final warning: if you're joining me, this will spoil The Last Jedi. Click off if you don't want to be spoiled. So first things first, Leia. So during one of the scenes, Kylo, just based on the trailer, had the chance to. He knew Leia was in that area. He had the chance to shoot. He didn't shoot, and then one of the TIE fighters that was accompanying him shot, and Leia got ejected into space. Admiral Akbar died, and then Leia basically turned into a superhero. She's never used. I don't think she's ever used the Force before, other than just kind of like knowing that Luke is there or communicating with Luke on that telepathic level. But she freaking flew through space, and I was like, what the frick is going on here? Why is she flying through space? And while I thought it was a cool touch, I mean, would she be able to do that if she's like, this is like really the first time she's used the Force? It just seemed strange. It seemed like when she was flying through space, it felt like the dream sequence in The Big Lebowski. If you ever saw that movie, I don't know why it made me think of that, but that's what it kind of reminded me of. So that was weird. What are some other weird things in this movie? The fact that Snoke is Snoke and we know nothing about him, and we're not going to know anything about him. That was disappointing to me. I wanted to know more about Snoke. This guy is all powerful. He is very, very in tune with the Force. He can use Force lightning. He's like 8 feet tall. He got jacked up in his face. Give me some more backstory on this guy. How did he get into power? I don't know if they're ever going to reveal that. If they never reveal that, that's a big letdown. Because how did they make that guy the Supreme Chancellor and then give us nothing about it? Getting into more spoilers about Snoke. My favorite scene in the entire movie started with Snoke getting killed. And I thought that was incredibly badass of Kylo doing that. And as soon as I saw the saber starting to turn, I think I audibly in the theater went, "Oh!" But then that happened, and then the fight right after that, the Kylo and Rey fight versus the Praetorian Guards, was probably one of the best fights in any Star Wars movie. That was incredible. It looked awesome. The choreography was great. It was intense. That was just an incredible... It's probably my favorite scene in the entire movie. I did not like the backstory, or I didn't like the side story with Rose and Finn. I don't think that they really did Finn's character any justice in this movie. I thought that if he... Spoilers again. I thought that at the end, when they were in the ski speeders and he was trying to basically sacrifice himself to fly into that giant cannon, I thought that would be a kind of a cool way for him to go out, because like that whole movie, it didn't make him very important, and then he was going to sacrifice himself for the greater good and fly into that cannon, and then Rose comes out of nowhere and knocks him out of the way. I didn't like Rose's character at all. At all. I just didn't like her character at all. I think that, like, it was weird because a lot of the actions in this were like people overreacting. And let me see if I can explain this. When Rose and Finn first met and Rose stunned him, just shocked him, after like saying, "You're my hero, you're a war hero, I'm so, honored to be in your presence," and then she freaking shocks him. It just doesn't, it's like you're going down this path with a character and then you go this way. It doesn't make sense. Kind of like when Poe wanted to commit mutiny, and he took control of the ship from Laura Dern's character, and then Leia shows up and then shoots Poe. I'm like, what the why? It's so weird. It's so like out of character for these characters to be acting this way. It's just strange. The way that Luke was acting, he was like a grumpy old hermit, a grumpy old Obi-Wan Kenobi. It was odd. And I saw the comment. He was going against orders, but it's just like, it doesn't seem like the way someone would act. You know these characters. You know Leia's character after all this time. You know Luke's character, and it was just odd acting. Benicio del Toro's character, couldn't stand him at all. Didn't like that character at all. What else? The ending. Let's talk about the ending. There was really no point for the ski speeders. They didn't do anything against those big AT-ATs. They were just there to look cool, I guess. They did like no damage whatsoever. And then Luke. The whole ruse at the end was, and Eric, yeah, there was a few things I did like. I liked a lot. I'm just pointing out all the stuff that I didn't like first. The ruse at the end was cool. I do think that was very cool, because when Luke went out all by himself in front of all those AT-ATs, and they said, concentrate all firepower on him, and they shot the hell out of where he was, and he was not phased. I'm like, holy crap, this is like the most powerful Jedi ever. How did he like block all of those laser blasts? And then Kylo came down, and I'm like, okay, we're going to get a good fight. And when it was revealed that it was just like a projection of himself, I was like, oh, that was kind of clever. And they showed Luke on the sitting on the island still. The whole audience started applauding because it was a clever scene. But then he just died. He just died. It's like you just did the coolest thing ever as a Jedi, projected yourself, tricked the hell out of everyone, and then you died. Now I know people are saying, he's going to be a spirit ghost, he'll be back, but it just seems like for Luke is such a big character, for him to go out that way. Han went out in a grand way, killed by his son. Luke used the Force too much and died. I just didn't like the way that Luke went out. But again, we're probably going to see him again in the next movie. But let me read some of these comments. It'll help me jog my memories of other things. Again, there were some really, really cool scenes. I love the space battle in the beginning. I love the Praetorian Guard fight with Luke and Kylo. I love how they were trying to both get the saber and it ripped it in half and blew up. I loved a lot of the humor. I thought the porgs were pretty funny. It was hilarious when Chewbacca he had roasted a porg and he was about to eat it, and all he saw were sad porgs. That was funny. Some of the humor felt a little forced in other parts. I didn't really necessarily like the humor at the beginning with Poe. Can you hear me now? I'm on hold for General Hux. I didn't really like that. It kind of seemed forced. But some of the humor was pretty good. But let me see some of these comments here. Poe and Hux scene at the beginning was funny as hell. Stephen Carroll liked that. I didn't really like that one. Luke was weird in The Last Jedi. I agree. He was kind of strange. He died looking into the twin suns. I love that. The Legend of Luke Skywalker full circle. Luke went out saving the rebellion. I agree, the Luke death was odd. Snoke was weak. Phasma was weak. Phasma was really weak. I was hoping that we were going to get at least something from Phasma. She had a very, very short fight with Finn and then fell into a big explosion. I liked BB-8. That's another thing I really liked. All the stuff he did was great. He had humor. He was frickin' piloting an AT-ST. That was awesome. So there was a lot of stuff that I really did like. I think if I see this movie again, and I'm not going to be surprised by anything. I already know what's going to happen. I'll be able to just kind of take everything in. I've watched a couple of YouTubers that are movie reviewers, and they said that the second viewing, they enjoyed it a lot more. So now that I know what happens, hopefully I'll enjoy it more on the second viewing, but we'll see. I was so pumped when Hux called Kylo the Supreme Leader. I liked the whole interplay between Kylo and Hux. And the fact that once Snoke was dead and Kylo knew he was in charge, he kind of made Hux his bitch. I didn't really know a different way to put that, but it was just funny the way he did that, how Hux would try and interject and Kylo would force choke him and throw him. But Great. So my battery's running low. Anyway, I just wanted to get all these thoughts off my head. I'm supposed to be in bed right now. Let me read some more. What happened? Did Rey turn bad? Please tell me. Nicholas, you gotta watch the movie first, man. This is a spoiler review. I don't want to give spoilers out. You gotta be surprised. Click off this video. Hopefully everyone that's watching this saw the movie. What about Yoda? Yoda's CGI was weird. He looked odd to me. I loved the Yoda character. I thought it was odd how he started giggling when he set fire to the tree in the books. Everything was just kind of like quirky. I think that's the best way to describe this, is they took characters that we kind of had an idea of how they would act, because we've seen them in multiple movies, and he just kind of like made them strange slightly, like a little weird, like a little quirky. Yoda giggling when he set fire to the thing, and Luke just acting strange. Everyone was just kind of weird in it. Wasn't CGI, was a new puppet. See, that's the thing, Clifton, it did look like a puppet to me, and that's why it looked kind of weird. His face looked kind of strange. I mean, I loved Yoda. The whole audience clapped when Yoda showed up, but he just looked kind of weird to me, personally, with the whole Spirit Ghost thing. What else? They had puppeteers. Chris Doyle said, did Spock show up? He did not. Wasn't CGI a new puppet? Didn't know Leia could fly. Yeah, the whole Leia flying thing was just so odd to me. I mean, it was kind of it looked like a cool scene. The effects were cool, but I was like, when did she learn to be that in tune with the Force in such a quick amount of time? And I guess you could make the argument for Rey. She became very, very quickly in tune with the Force in such a short period of time. But yeah, the whole Leia flying scene, I don't think I've ever seen a Jedi fly before. They could jump really far, but she literally flew through space. I'm surprised we didn't see the Knights of Ren. That's another thing. Who the frick are the Knights of Ren? Were they supposed to be the Praetorian Guards? I mean, there's a lot of things that I wanted answers for, and I was hoping to get them, and I didn't get the damn answers. Knights of Ren, where the frick are they? Snoke, who the frick is he? A lot of speculation on Rey's parents. Everyone thought they were someone, but the fact that they were just no one, the way that they filmed the movie, it made sense. And that end scene kind of brought it all together. So the whole thing with Rey, her parents were no one. Her parents were junk traders, I think is what they were referred to as, and they just abandoned her. And she just is special, and she's very in tune with the Force. That's kind of a cheap, lazy writing, I guess, until they show the kid at the very, very end, and he grabs the broom, and the broom flies through the air and into his hand. I'm like, there's more people out there that are in tune with the Force. There will be more Jedi. I think that's what they're kind of trying to insinuate there is, Luke said, I'm not the last Jedi. Rey's going to be a Jedi, or Rey is a Jedi. And the fact that she just was born with these special skills, it says a lot to the fact that, the kid at the end also has a special skill. So if they didn't show that kid at the end, I would have thought it was a cop-out, that she didn't have some type of lineage that we know of. But let me see what other comments we got. Did Luke throw the lightsaber when Rey handed it? Oh, yes. Nicholas, you gotta watch the movie, man. You gotta watch the movie. Yes, he basically, it was a joke. There was a lot of jokes in this. She handed him the lightsaber, he looked at it, and then threw it over his shoulder off the frickin' cliff. Wait, the reason Yoda laughed is because he moved them to the Falcon. We saw the books at the end. Did we? I don't think I was paying attention. I didn't see the books. I kind of don't believe Kylo in that moment. Maybe it was a manipulation tactic. Oh, about her parents not being nobodies. They could retcon in episode 9 and basically go back and say that she did have special parents. I still think that the idea of her being related to a Palpatine is a good, I don't know. I thought it was a good idea. The fact that she's born with this evil blood in her and she could be a good person. It's kind of the opposite of Kylo Ren. He was born with good blood in him, Han Solo and Princess Leia, and then he turns into a total douche. Was anyone else hoping that when they were fighting, when Rey and Kylo were fighting the Praetorian Guards, that it was going to be Kylo was going to turn good? I think the whole audience that I was with thought that was going to happen, because when they started fighting those guards, the audience just started clapping. I've never been in a movie, I don't think I've ever been in a movie that had so much like mid-movie clapping. The audience literally just like started clapping and people were going, woo! During certain scenes. It was kind of cool and strange at the same time. I've never been in something like that, but anyway, guys, I just wanted to get those thoughts off my head. One of my friends asked me, what would I rate the movie? It's not a fair rating. I think I need to see it again, but initially, first viewing, I would give it a 7 out of 10. And I know that's not strong, and my friend said, wow, that's a lot lower than what people are saying. It's in the 90s on Rotten Tomatoes. But again, first viewing, I was taken aback by some of it. I thought a lot of it was strange. It didn't feel like Star Wars to me in some parts. But now that I know what I can expect and I can go back and just take it all in again, I'm hoping that my grade raises. Because there was a lot of parts of it that I really, really genuinely loved. But a lot of it just felt odd to me. I don't know. Yes, a lot of loose ends, Gregory says. But yeah, I do plan on seeing it possibly, I don't know, this weekend or so. But I'll probably share my opinion after I see it a second time. Let me scroll through the comments one more time. And then I'm going to end this. Weak how they destroyed Snoke's ship. You mean to tell me they have nothing to shoot down an incoming ship? I actually thought that was super freaking cool. How she went into warp speed through the ship and it was total silence. I don't know if it was just the effect, the sound effect that I liked. The fact that she pointed, I was like, what is she going to do? Laura Dern's character, because she was all by herself in that ship. And she put it into warp. Is it hyperspeed or warp speed? I think I'm confusing. I'm confusing Star Trek with Star Wars. She put it into hyperspeed, and it was total silence, and you just see the streak, and then you hear the noise after. I thought that was freaking awesome. It kind of reminded me slightly of Episode 2, Attack of the Clones, with those the seismic charges that came out of Slave One, Jango's ship. How it's kind of like a delayed sound effect. I thought that was awesome. Anyway, let's see what other comments. That was a great scene. Also, the guns were all pointed at the transports. Yes, Stephen Carroll. Does Luke die? Gannon Fish, gotta see the movie! This is a spoiler review, though. I'm gonna warn ya. Spoilers ahead. Luke dies. Luke dies at the end, or he ascends to spirit level. I guess that's another way to put it. Let's see what else we got. Light travels faster than sound. Correct. That is absolutely... And that's why it's a cool effect, because you think about that and you're like, that does make sense. Comparing this movie to Empire is a joke. Empire is still my favorite movie of all time. Any movie. Empire is definitely my favorite Star Wars movie. I still think Rogue One might be my second favorite Star Wars movie. I liked... Upon initial viewing, I think that I enjoyed Force Awakens more than this one. Again, that was just my first viewing. I'm going to see it again, and I don't know, my opinion might change, but I don't know. This got very, very, very positive critical reviews, but like a lot of the fans, a lot of you guys, I'm scrolling through Twitter, I'm looking for people's opinions. A lot of people are let down by it. I don't know if it's the same reasons that I was let down by it, just a lot of storylines that you didn't get information on, no payoff, just actors kind of acting kind of weird, characters acting a little strange or out of character, and it just not feeling like a Star Wars movie. Like when they were on that casino planet and they were trying to get away and they were riding those horse-like things, did not feel like a Star Wars movie to me. I was like, what am I watching? I mean, I see Finn... I recognize him from the last movie, and he's riding this giant horse-like thing. What am I watching? So, yeah, I didn't like the Casino Planet thing. And, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and end this, guys. I'm going to get to bed. Thanks for joining me. But Porgs killed everyone. The scene I'm most disappointed is when Luke throws his old lightsaber, give it to him. Yeah, that was out of character. It was strange. It was strange. I thought Luke was going to reveal himself as evil after the Rey-Kylo team-up fight. Yeah. A lot of the theories that I had, like, I had a theory that Snoke was created from the dark side. That was Luke. I had a theory that Luke created Snoke to keep balance in the Force. None of that stuff panned out. None of that stuff was accurate. I think I was stretching too far. Had a theory that Rey was a Palpatine. None of that happened. So I don't know if I just had like really, really high expectations going into this, and maybe my expectations weren't met, or I secretly wanted like one of my theories to be true. And I don't know. Rey's parents are no one. Her parents are no one. That's the whole idea, is she had parents that abandoned her, and they were no one. They were junk traders, and she just has special abilities. She's in tune with the Force. So there you go. But thanks, guys. I'm gonna hit the sack now. Thanks for joining me. And if you didn't see Star Wars: The Last Jedi, not sure why you're watching this, but if you're watching this in the future, let me know what you guys think about the movie. Leave it in the comments below. This is a spoiler review, so if you're watching this video, if you're commenting, go ahead and feel free to post spoilers in the review in the comments below. So, thanks again, guys. May the Force be with you, and have fun collecting. Adios.